Bald Dog was escaping the police with his friends in GTA Online. He got pushed by his friend, which caused him to lose control. He went off-road looking like he could save it, but sadly he then crashed. Sten was driving a Porsche 911 Cabrio in Utah on the highway. He was swerving through traffic, and man, he was good at it. Sadly, he lost control after a while before he crashed into a red sedan. Fred was driving a blue Audi RS7 on the highway. This guy was swerving through traffic at crazy speeds when suddenly he lost control. But look at the crazy control he did. If he wouldn't have clipped that car at the end, man, what a save that could have been. Richard was pursuing multiple suspects in BeamNG Drive. Suddenly, a white SUV hit a gray van, which blocked Richard's path before he crashed into it. Tommy was driving his Cherrier in rainy weather. It was very foggy as well, and for some reason he decided it's a good idea to overtake a van. Right after he started overtaking, an oncoming car appeared, causing Tommy to collide with it head-on. All airbags deployed in his vehicle, and he also caused a lot of damage. TerraBlock sent a crazy dashcam clip of a police SUV hitting a ramp before it flew into the air. The car then landed in oncoming lanes and caused a collision involving 3 vehicles. Lucky for the Camry driver who saw the police car coming at him and moved to the right lane to avoid getting hit. So are there also good Camry drivers? Richard was driving a BMW M5 at high speed. He was near missing a lot of vehicles, but he was great with car control. But when he got to the side of the road to avoid traffic, he approached a shoulder that was for exiting the highway. A few cars were exiting at the time when he was approaching at around 120 miles per hour. Richard rear-ended a car at high speed before he came to a complete stop. Police Hunter was escaping the police in GTA 5. They had a 5-star wanted level when they decided to throw a grenade at the police behind them. It helped a lot since almost all of them exploded. Igor was driving behind a yellow sedan on the East Coast. Suddenly, a vehicle hit a semi-truck at the intersection, which was driving in the opposite direction from Igor. The semi-truck got pushed into Igor's lane, causing the yellow sedan, Igor, and a car driving behind Igor to get involved in the collision. All vehicles were totaled after receiving severe damage. This submitter was driving in Belasco downtown. He was approaching an intersection at high speed with his vehicle when suddenly, another vehicle ran a red light, which caused our submitter to hit that vehicle. Both cars were disabled after the impact. TerraBlock was driving on the bridge when suddenly, white car hit a ramp, causing it to go airborne. It then landed on the road below the bridge, clipping a truck's trailer. These Camry drivers have no chill. Stanley was driving on a snowy and icy road. As he was driving downhill, he started sliding down as well as the car in front of him. They both flew off the road at the curve. Sadly for the minivan in front of him, it started rolling over. Rody Planta was driving behind a Mercedes E-Class. Suddenly, an oncoming vehicle lost control and crashed head-on into the Mercedes. The oncoming vehicle spun out multiple times after the impact, clipping Rody's car. That dude Andrew was racing with a friend in his Supra on the highway. Suddenly, the Supra driver went into an oncoming lane while trying to avoid a pickup truck coming from the right lane. But that was a terrible decision as the Supra crashed head-on with a big off-road truck. Our submitter had no other choice but to crash into the pickup truck merging from the right lane, blocking his path. Jack was driving in Italy, speeding through curvy roads. Suddenly, he went into a sharp curve where a box truck was driving. He hit his brakes, but he rear-ended it. Sadly, his trip was over. Viper was riding with his friend in my summer car. They were riding on the dirt road at a pretty high speed.
Pedal to the metal, if you say.
Let's go on a boost cruise. Oh!
Until they approached a sharp curve where they hit a lowered surface. That caused them to roll over before their car slid on its side. AK was towing a Tesla Model Y in the heavy rain. As he was about to turn left, a driver failed to yield to him. AK crashed into the red sedan before he got hit by a pickup truck. Matty was driving his sports car at high speed. He was driving behind a blue Mustang when he decided to overtake it. He gained high speed after the overtake, and when he exited a tunnel, a black BMW merged into his lane for no reason, causing Matty to collide with it. Darmy was driving at night, delivering cargo. He was around 60 kilometers away from the destination. He approached a car collision that happened in the right lane. Darmy was in the left lane when suddenly a white van merged into his lane at the last second. He slammed on the brakes before he rear-ended the white van. Ian was driving an orange SBR in BeamNG Drive. He was driving at high speed when he tried to swerve between two vehicles. He clipped one of the vehicles before he lost control and crashed into rocks on the side of the road. Zach was driving on the racetrack at high speed. When he was driving through a pretty hard curve, which always causes collisions, he lost control. He spun out and crashed into the safety barriers at high speed. Ben was driving behind a blue SUV. Suddenly, an oncoming Mercedes crashed head-on with the SUV, causing Ben to get hit. Sam was escaping the police in GTA 5 with his brother. They were throwing grenades and sticky bombs at them, causing massive explosions. Look at that cop car exploding in slow motion. Brian was driving a Honda Civic. Oh boy, a Honda driver? Man, look at that drift he did, and he didn't hit anything or anyone. How is that possible? Marius was overtaking a semi-truck. He had to merge back into his lane quickly due to an oncoming vehicle. That caused him to lose control and roll over before he got hit by an oncoming red Soviet car. Rhino was racing in Trackmania on a very wavy track. When he was approaching the finish line, he got launched by a jump and nitro booster before he hit the roof of the finish. That caused him not to run through the finish line, ruining his time. Best Gamer was improving his time in Trackmania when, suddenly, his car lost control and he flew off the track. Taxi Driver was transporting a customer in GTA Online. He was rushing on the snowy roads when, suddenly, he made a crazy near miss. Look how close he was to that van and parked car. Rally Pro was rallying in BeamNG Drive. He suddenly lost grip in the curve before he crashed into a tree. Azam was driving down the road next to a Bugatti. Seeing a Bugatti Chiron is pretty rare. Suddenly, the Bugatti driver merged into his lane without checking the side view mirror. The Bugatti crashed into Azam. I bet his insurance provider was not happy.